Recorded Books Incorporated presents an unabridged recording of Done Deal by Les Standiford, narrated by Ron McLarty. This work, copyrighted 1993 by Les Standiford, is recorded by arrangement with Sobel Weber Associates. This recording is copyrighted 1998 by Recorded Books Incorporated. For Johnny Deal, a small-time building contractor, Miami has become a tough place to survive in a real estate glut. But with a four-plex nearly completed on the one piece of land he owns free and clear, he's determined to make the investment work. And now, Done Deal.
Prologue. Little Havana. Manolo Reyes glanced at his watch, a digital model with Drakkar printed across its face, then looked out the office window, across the deserted service bays of the station. The afternoon thunderheads had passed over, but the sun was dying, sinking into the Everglades a few miles west. It was time to go home, but he hesitated, watching a scrawny street cat worry something flattened on the pavement. There were no longer any gasoline pumps out there. Sinclair had pulled out of Little Havana a decade or more ago, certain the neighborhood was a lost cause. That was okay by Manolo. He'd come over from Cuba 20 years ago, in a sailboat stolen from a tourist hotel. Bankrolled by two cousins who'd been running a restaurant in the States since Castro seized power, he'd been able to buy the property, keep up the payments on what he made repairing automobiles in the converted gas station. He had found a doting wife, Angela. It was she who'd given him the watch, along with a bottle of the cologne it was named for on last Father's Day. He had two sons, Carlos and Manolo Jr., 6th and 7th graders speaking perfect English, doing well in the Shenandoah Middle School. He'd been able to buy a modest bungalow a few miles west in the suburbs. Indeed, he had achieved a good life, and he mumbled a vague prayer of thanks as he stood up from his desk. Outside, the cat pricked its ears up and dashed across the street into the shadows. Manolo stared back down at the papers in front of him and shrugged. So what if he'd never get rich? "Ramondo," he called, closing the ledger book he'd been doing his figures on. Raymond was his new helper, a dark-skinned Dominican of indeterminate age. He'd come in off the street a few days before in response to a sign Manolo had placed in the window. He couldn't...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?